Welcome to Odds.com's Saturday NCAA football kickoff show. A happy Halloween to everybody. We are ready to fire. Let's get a what up from everybody, our experts on the screen. DJ Big Boss, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing great, man, but I think I'm going to lose the what up for today because something's been going on with me and the bet gods. You know, I get on these shows and I talk all these games, and then the ones I decide to pick and take, those not the ones to take or pick at all. But I'm not going to say what up, though. I'm going to go back to some of my DJ stuff and say, yeah. Yo, if you're out there, let me get a yeah. Let's go. It's early morning college football, man. We got to get this energy up. We got to get it going, Jimmy, because I'm not going to sit in the background and keep losing bets like this. Already got hit right in the head last night with Hawaii. I don't know what happened to the office that I seen the week before, but they left them in Denver or wherever they was at before.
It was cold last night. I hit the under, but I lost the under in Tulsa. Absolute bullshit. The under should have hit for sure. Tulsa just kept getting lucky call in their favor to keep that drive alive. Drove me crazy. John Ryan, happy Saturday. We've got a lot of work to do. How you doing, my man?
Man, I'm doing good. You guys are absolutely right. I can't remember a more difficult NFL season in terms of picks than this one. And it's the 2020 calendar and COVID and whatever else we can blame it on. But I'm sure it's going to turn.
And Big Ragoo, my man, how are you doing this morning?
Happy Halloween. Hopefully we be handing out little treats today for the chat and everybody abroad. But it's always a pleasure to be with my guys. I'm glad to be back this week and had a pretty good night last night, 3-0 with Maryland over, Maryland on the side, and ECU on the side. So hopefully we get some momentum, carry that forward, and
let's
put
go.
You guys on some plays. Let's get ready to roll.
Let's go. We got strategic investments. Raymond Reichart, Dan Kelly in the house. Walter Trotter, Wham Bam, ready to go. We got Robert Allen. We got strategic investments. Says talking about the big Memphis Cincy spot. Cincy playing good football. We are going to go down rotation numbers. We're going to talk about each and every game on the card, and it's going to be tough. So we're going to have to go very quickly over some games and spend a little bit more time on others, and we'll let these guys here and the cappers in the chat make decisions of what game to spend more time with. We got Bill McHugh ready to go. Damian Conway ready to eat. We got a lot of great cappers in the chat. Time to get to work. Razor sharp picks. Jay Cash, James Lill, Chase Dozier, Okie. God bless the USA. Johnny K, Ben Sports 24/7. Mickey Cohen. What a great group. All right, let's get to work. We got Junior Louis ready to go. K. Paul VIP in the house. Okay, Robert Allen giving us his looks. Illinois +8, Memphis +7, Coastal Carolina -3, early games bets that are pending. All right, let's get right to work. Thank you guys so much for joining us here. Odds headquarters. We are going to start with a beauty. Big Ten action. Spartans, Wolverines. Let's get all of our lines up on the screen and begin to attack them. Spartans going up. Michigan State, Michigan. This total opened up at 55. It's dropped down to 51.5. Michigan opened as 25.5-point favorites. It went all the way down to 21. It's back up to 22. Ann Arbor, 36 Fahrenheit, cloudy, 21 miles per hour. Michigan State coming off 38-27 loss at home to Rutgers. Rocky Lombardi threw for 319 yards. Michigan coming off 49-24 win in Minnesota. Milton looked very good, very in control. The numbers don't jump out at you, 15 for 22 for 225 yards, 1 TD, but he just looked poised and comfortable and was in control all game long. John, let's get it started. John Ryan, Big Ten action, Michigan State, Michigan. What's your move?
Well, I think the move is Michigan here with the Wolverines laying the wood, as I like to say for Big Boss there. So,
nothing sexual, man. Come on, it's too early.
I couldn't even wait 5 minutes to hear you say that kind of stuff. So anyway, seriously, I think Michigan State is a team that is in trouble. Previous shows I said that they aren't even a Big Five conference caliber team. With this week that we're having right now, I said similar things about Maryland, and lo and behold, look what they did last night, and that just shocks my mind too. So I'm going to be gentle today and not bash any of these teams. They have, my kid could be playing for one of these teams. We have to take that in consideration too sometimes, I guess. But Michigan is a team that I had underrated so far based on my preseason power ratings. And Michigan State is worse than I thought they were. 7 turnovers last week against Rutgers, giving them 3 scoring drives of 30 yards or less. I just don't see this game even being close. It feels like a 55-10 type of game.
Feels like a 55-10 kind of game. Are we getting an opportunity now to back Michigan at this number, Big Ragoo?
I think it's too many points. Number one, definitely Michigan's a better team without question. If you look into what Michigan State did last week, I think our guy, the quarterback, Rocky, did a good job. His numbers were good, 3 TDs, 7 turnovers, though, man. That was the whole key to that game. So they look like the old Rutgers team last week versus the Michigan State of old. But the thing I like about Michigan, though, is Michigan's offense. We kind of waited last year to get us to get this offense going in tempo and start getting some offensive production. But I don't know about the points here. It's a pass for me, but I think you take away the takeaways that Michigan State put on the field, if they can clean that up a little bit. We know they're young. We know that the coach is a rookie coach. Usually in this series, Michigan usually comes out on top, but that's a lot of points. And Michigan, if they could keep the offensive production going, I don't think Michigan State played that bad of a game defensively either. The turnovers just killed them. So I think it's too many points, but it's a no play for me.
It's a no play over there. So we have a couple no plays here with this big favorite, number 13th ranked Michigan Wolverines. Big Boss, you getting to the window on this?
Not getting to the window on it, but I definitely was in deep thought about it. This one right here is kind of complicated. I guess the public sees it as somebody sees it as Michigan game they're just going to run away. I don't know how we get a team that was just like mediocre last year, and then they come in here because they played one good performance. Now they're going to blow this team out. But Michigan State is always rooted in defense. A great thing about teams that are rooted in defense, no matter how bad the ship gets, they still come to play defense. So that usually ends up in covering some large lines. Wish I could have got it at 26. That probably lasted for 60 seconds. But I see 22s out there. That's 3 touchdowns and a field goal. That's a nice spot to be in right there. So if you just want to sit back, pop popcorn, and watch the games and have a little value on your plate, take Michigan State plus the points.
Dan Kelly does not think it's too many points. There's no way. Says when coaches go to recruit in-state, they want to point to a blowout and say, do you really want to go to a school that loses by 60 to us?
Oh, I have something to say about that. Do you see teams that really do that now that we have the playoff system? If we took the playoff system out of the thing, period, you see a lot of teams that would be going for the gut like that. College football is not played like that. That's an old mentality. It's a newer game right now. It's all about getting the win and getting to the playoffs.
A question from Birdie to John Ryan. Are you getting to the window on this spot, or are you going to stay off? You are getting to the window.
It's a medium-sized bet.
All right, full game Michigan. Is that right, John? Full game Michigan?
Yes. Yep.
All right, John, moving on, full game Michigan. So thank you for asking that question, Brittany, so we can clarify that. All right, that's game 1. We are going to go right down the rotation numbers here. So next up, we have Wake Forest, Syracuse. Wake Forest opening up at -11, now at -1 or -14. This total has been around 59 all week long. Demon Deacons 3-2, 2-2 in the ACC. The Orange 1-5, 1-4 in the ACC. Demon Deacons coming off their third straight win, surprise 23-16 win over Virginia Tech Hokies. They held the Hokies to 210 yards, 16 points, both season lows. Wake Forest ran for 206 yards, 2 touchdowns on 49 carries. Sam Hartman averaging 201 yards per game, has thrown just 3 touchdown passes this year, but no picks. Clemson was played tight by Syracuse. 3 quarters down 27-21 after the third quarter. Syracuse lost Tommy DeVito to injury. Culpepper took over. He struggled against Clemson. 10 of 26, 175 yards. 50 and 3 picks, but Clemson's defense is tough. Syracuse last in the ACC at 19.8 points per game, last in the conference in both rushing at 92.8 and passing at 182.0 yards per game. Let's go to Big Ragoo, Wake Forest, Syracuse. Is there a move to make?
It's a tight move. This is another lean for me here. All arrows point to Wake for me on this game because of the recent. You can take that recent game with Clemson. For some reason, that's a team that always has Clemson's number with the number, so to speak. They always play them not tight, but it's always like a couple years ago was a scare. Then the following year after that was another scare. But take that game off the board going forward with this game here. There's a lot going on with Syracuse on the offensive side. I think Wake is starting to get their legs underneath them a little bit. Not so much throwing the ball deep, but like you said, a solid running game. And I think that this game is definitely going to be a lean for Wake for me. I'm not getting to the window, but I like Wake if you're looking. It's a Wake or pass for me here.
Wake Forest was a cash for me last week. I'm very hesitant to go right back to the window. Dan Kelly says, I told you last week, Dabo has a soft spot for Dino. That was just such a sharp call. I wish I had backed it. You were absolutely right, Dan. Year after year, we're seeing that. Excellent call, Dan Kelly. Let's move over to DJ Big Boss, Wake Forest, Syracuse.
I'm really liking Wake Forest in this one. I look at it pure right here is a strength of competition that they played before. Wake Forest has won to Virginia Tech, Virginia, of course, Campbell, close loss to NC State, and they lost to Clemson, but they did cover the spread as well. So I see a really strong Wake Forest team versus a team like Syracuse, who's lost to Duke, lost to Liberty, also lost to Clemson, but they did get the cover, but the cover was way off the roof at 46. So no other way to go right here but Wake Forest.
Are you going to get to the window?
Not getting to the window for it. It's a lot of Mountain West games out there. Like I said, I've been struggling with the best stuff. So a lot of my action is in the Mountain West.
John Ryan, what do you think of this spot? Wake 14-point road favorites. And what do you think of this total 59.5? Bleds W thinking of making a move on the under here.
I would go with the under. I would side with that. It's a lean. I do like Wake Forest. I have to admit, when this line came out, I had to do a double take. I never thought that I'd see Wake Forest as a double-digit road favorite. But it makes you think, too, that maybe the line is an overreaction to how bad Syracuse has played. Nevertheless, everything points to Wake Forest. With the exception of week 1 against Clemson, they have run more running plays than passing plays, and in certain cases by a wide but by a big number. Last week they gained 206 against Virginia Tech. And, as much as you want to think that Syracuse has a good defense, they won't be able to stop this ground attack. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Wake Forest rush the ball for more than 50 times. And if that occurs, that obviously makes the under a pretty good opportunity to bet on.
I think so, too, at this number of 59.5. I mean, they ran it, 49 times their way over Virginia Tech. And Syracuse's defense showed us something in that game against Clemson. Maybe Clemson didn't play very well. But I think that makes sense. We don't have a ton of time to hum and haw over the game. But at this point, I understand why you are liking the under. Is that just a lean for you, or is that something you might get to the window with?
That's just a lean for me.
A lean? All right, I have some interest in that under 59.5. Thank you, Chase Dozier. All right, let's keep rolling along. Thank you guys for joining us. Next up, we're just going down the rotation numbers, and we don't need to spend as much time on some games. It's up to the cappers on screen and in the chat to decide when to focus a little more. Next up, UTSA Roadrunners at Florida Atlantic Owls. This total opened up at 49.5, now down to 46.5. Florida Atlantic opens as 6.5-point favorites, now 4-point favorites. Boca Raton, 85 Fahrenheit, scattered thunderstorms, 8 miles per hour is the win. UTSA 4-3, 2-1 Conference USA. And by the way, the weather's great today. It's tomorrow that's going to be more difficult in NFL. The weather's great today. There's a couple spots with heavy wind, but that's about it. And not ridiculous heavy. UTSA coming off their third straight victory, 27-26 home victory over La Tech. UTSA 32nd in rushing offense, put up 184.9 yards per game, coming off 29 loss on the road against Marshall. They've had multiple games postponed due to COVID, And the Owls have held opponents to 108 yards per game and 3.5 yards per carry on the ground. So they've been very good defensively on the ground against the UTSA team that gets a ton of their offense on the ground. The Owls are 92nd out of 101 FBS teams in passing offense with just 123 yards per game. That's obviously why, it looks to be why, this total has dropped 49.5 to 46.5. Florida teams, we love going to you first. Big Ragoo, UTSA, Florida Atlantic. Is there a move here?
If there's a move, it's only one way for me. It's either on the under or on the dog, UTSA. Even though Florida FAU is trying to get some kind of continuity going with their program. Willie Taggart's first year, he's usually pretty good on the offensive side. He's got some struggles to work with down there, and so I think the more they're picking up the pieces on defense. UTSA, like you said, is I think the only way that they're going to have success is put the ball up in the air against this team. So I would definitely lean more towards the under. If anything, I know they've come off of 50 down to 40, 46, 45.5 some spots. So it's an under or pass, but I'm not getting to the window.
Under or pass. DJ Big Boss, UTSA, Florida Atlantic. Anything you see?
Boca Raton, that means dirty rat, right? Big Ragoo?
Yeah. According to Martin, yeah.
I ain't down with the dirty rats and stuff like that. I'm going to leave that up to you. But if I had to take a pick in this one, I go with the dog in this one, UTSA. Not a big sample size for Florida side, but UTSA, on the other hand, has played a lot of games. They showed a lot of things they can do, but they don't produce too much offense. Even as a rushing team, they only like 180 plus yards a game on the ground, which some of these all Russian teams are doing well into the 200s. So the under would be nice. I mean, the line is already leaning towards the under anyhow at 47. So that's pretty low nowadays for a college football game. So
45.5 in spots.
Yeah, wow. See, it's one a little too low. Like in college football right now, under 43s are nice if there's the right teams are playing, but if there's any little wiggle room in there, it could go easily over.
John Ryan, UTSA, Florida Atlantic. Anything for you?
I'm neutral in this game. I'll make it real quick. I'm seeing 60% of the tickets and 79% of the money on UTSA. And I think the reason that is that Florida Atlantic is 1-11 the last time they've been a home favorite of 7.5 points or less. So it's kind of a wash because UTSA, there's too much of the herd is on that team. My gut would tell me to take Florida Atlantic, but we all know if you bet with your gut, you end up having to take out loans. So I'm a pass on this game.
A pass there. We got Dutch Boy Fresh rolling with us as well. We got Jay Money, Hustle Wilson, Dennis Garcia. We got a great group. Let's keep rolling. Next up, Kansas State Wildcats, West Virginia Mountaineers. Ron Crawford on our Monday show said, get on West Virginia right away. This line is not going to stay here. And he was right. He got in at -3, and -5 is now what you can get available. There were 3.5s after the show, so I couldn't get that 3, and I waited, and I shouldn't have waited. This total opened up at 48.5. It's now down to 45.5. Morgantown, 55 Fahrenheit, rain in the forecast, 15 miles per hour. Wildcats 4-0 in the Big 12. West Virginia 2-2 in the Big 12. K-State sits on top of the Big 12, surprisingly, coming off 55-14 victory at home over Kansas. Will Howard has stepped up after the injury to Skylar Thompson. Dukes Vaughn leads the Wildcats in both rushing and receiving. West Virginia coming off 34-27 loss to Texas Tech. Jarrett Dagey leads the Big 12 in pass attempts per game, 39.6. He's completed 64.1% of his passes, third in the conference with 1,389 yards, 9 touchdowns, and throwing 3 picks. He's been very, very good, Dagey. West Virginia held Texas Tech to 348 total yards, still leads the Big 12 in total defense, 261.8 yards per game, and yards per play at 4.31. That's Kansas State, West Virginia. John Ryan, is there a move for you?
Yeah, I actually like Kansas State here a little bit. I actually picked up +6 about an hour ago. So I think you're going to see that line start spreading to the other sports books as well. But 5.5, I would be comfortable with that too. And one of the things that sticks out here is the it's hard for me to go against Kansas State. I know people are talking, this and that about the defense or the offense, and that they're overrated and that kind of mumbo jumbo. But my math and the machine learning stuff is clearly on Kansas State in this matchup, and I know it's a contrarian play, and I like contrarian plays. I like being looked at by 10 people that heard me say I'm on Kansas State and start shaking their head that I'm nuts. Those are usually the games that I win. So I'm on Kansas State. There's a betting system that I'll share with you guys that supports them. And you're betting against the home teams that are coming off a close loss, as Jimmy already stated. And that close loss is to a conference rival. And the two teams that are playing against each other have a win percentage of at least 60% on the season. So we're far enough now into the season with enough games where 60% win percentage is meaningful. It wouldn't be if you only had 3 games and there was a 2-1 record that qualified. So I'm on Kansas State.
Kansas State here for John Ryan. DJ Big Boss, K-State, West Virginia. What do you think of John backing K-State?
I like K-State on the money line play. That I mean, it could be a good money line bet for the day if that's what you're looking for. But for those that really value defense, you got West Virginia. Despite their record, despite all that stuff, they're still 3-0 at home. Playing at home it's a big factor. And I think that's where the majority of the lines come from. Usually they say give the home team about 3 points. So right now we sitting at 5. It opened at 3.5 and went up to about 5. So it's a real risky game right here. It's kind of a stay away for me. But if you want to have some fun and have a good chance, follow my guy John Ryan. Even put a little bit on the money line for me.
I like that idea.
Ragoo, what do you think of K-State, West Virginia here?
I'm going against the panel here. I'm on West Virginia.
See, defensive guy. He's a defensive guy.
I like the reason I'm on West Virginia. I know they lost to Texas Tech. I know they lost to Oak State. 1-score loss Texas Tech. 2-score loss to Oak State. But the way that Kansas State's been winning, they've been negative on yardage per game against their opponents. They've been negative on first down against their opponents. So the wins they've been, not saying they're not quality wins, they have wins, but the stats show me that this is going to play into West Virginia's hands on the defensive side of the ball. On the offensive side, they're better rated on both sides, and they're playing at home. Morgantown's a tough place to play. And if you can, I know the lines moved to 5. I got in at 4. So anything less than 2 field goals, I would stick with West Virginia. I would lay up to 6 with West Virginia in this spot.
All righty, let's keep rolling. Nice work, everybody. The pace is very good. Let's keep rolling. Boston College at Clemson. Boston College 4-2, 3-2 in the ACC. Clemson 6-0, 5-0 ACC. Clemson 62 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 11 miles per hour. We know that Trevor Lawrence is out with COVID, and we get to see this 6'5", 250-pound freshman DJ Uiagalelei. Uiagalelei. I hope I'm doing that justice there. Uiagalelei. All right, here we go. Boston College, Clemson. Let's see what we are dealing with here. This total opened up at 61, went down to 57.5 without Lawrence. And Clemson opened up as 31.5-point favorites. That went down to 24 and then back up to 25 or 25.5, although the leading indicator books are still hanging 24s. Uiagalelei, 5-star recruit out of Bellflower, California, number 3 prospect out of California, number 10 overall prospect in the entire 2020 recruiting class. The guy looks like an absolute beast. He looks so scary. Boston College coming off a 48-27 win over Georgia Tech. 5 Eagles receivers have at least 100 yards receiving, and Boston College allows an average of 25 points and 382.7 total yards of offense. Big Boss, do we believe in Uiagalelei? What do you think about Clemson at this number?
Oh, man, big bias right here, man. Big bias. I'll tell you a quick story. So Wham just reminded me the other day. It slipped my mind. Thank God for his memory, because it slipped my mind. So one of my good friends that used to help us film our show and stuff, he came through one day and said he was going out to take some flicks of his homeboy's kid who played for John Bosco. This was a few years ago, as a matter of fact, and it happened to be that guy's kid. Never even knew he made it to Clemson, but after going through that, this kid's pretty good, man. He's a big old Samoan guy, man. Tough guy right here. He could definitely handle it. And, bias on this one, even though Clemson haven't been real good ATS, they've been a real under team this year. And, they're missing their top quarterback. But they've been getting paid a lot on the ground, and so this guy doesn't have to do much. He can easily come in and fill Trevor Lawrence's shoes and do his thing, even show what he has coming up next year because Trevor Lawrence already declared that he's out of here. So if I were to take one for Clemson first halves right here, have been doing justice.
Ooh, Walter Trotter says DJ's an upgrade. An upgrade, Walter. That's
6'5". I think he's 260 something.
Wow.
An upgrade. We might be getting a little heavy.
Bias.
Yes.
The number one overall pick in the NFL draft. Big Ragoo. I love my man Wham Bam. Boston College, Clemson. Ragoo, what do we do here?
This is almost an easy cap as far as game plan goes. I think with the situation in Clemson and this highly touted, West Coast quarterback that our guys are talking about, remains to be seen what he puts on the field. Kind of gives me that Georgia feel when their quarterback went down early in the season. But we'll see what happens. But I think realistically, it's going to be on the defensive side of the ball where Clemson is going to be in a shutdown mode. So I would automatically, my brain tells me to look to the under in this spot because of the, I don't know how much offense they're going to try to stretch out. They're going to rely more on Travis Etienne in the running game. Boston College is going to do what Boston College does. They're going to try to match you with that balance attack. And whether Clemson lets them have some success on the offensive side, that's going to remain to be seen. So my first thought is the under here. And I'm probably not going to get to the window with that, but just, capping the game, that's what I like.
Big Boss going to lay the number on Clemson. Ragoo not going to make a move here. John Ryan, Boston College, Clemson.
Well, I've never seen a line account for one player by dropping 8 points because he's not playing. I don't think anybody has ever seen a line decline that much because of one player. Granted, he is probably going to be the Heisman Trophy winner in the first round of the NFL draft. But I couldn't help remembering that game where Syracuse went into Clemson and Sabo had the guts to bench the offensive player of the year from the previous season and went with some kid we never heard of named Trevor Lawrence. And we didn't know anything about him, and look where he is now. And, looking at this kid in high school that's taking his place, because I can't pronounce his last name either, with all due respect to him. I mean, he threw for over 10,000 yards in high school. He had an interception ratio. I jotted it down here. It was just ridiculous. Like 127 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. And, as Big Boss knows, St. John Bosco is in a league that is very tough. I mean, this isn't a candy cane, Pop Warner type of, league. I mean, it's an elite league, and he did this all. So I think if you're going to bet this game, I think you got to take Clemson here. I think it's a gift. I'm not going to go to the window with it, but I think it's a gift.
Absolutely. I agree with that too, because my son, as a matter of fact, went to Servite, and in that league is Servite, Modern Day, Bosco. Yep. That's a really tough that's a tough group right there. And there's a lot of quarterbacks out of there, but they didn't do too well in college though. But it's a lot of quarterbacks out of Bosco.
Uia Galilei. I think I'm pronouncing that. I hope
that's the closest I've heard yet, Jimmy.
I've said it 6 times. Okay. I hope I've heard that right.
Just don't say dressing room.
Hey, man, we're not talking hockey. Look, very simple. Very simple. Locker room, it's football. Let's talk Coastal Carolina, Georgia State, little Sun Belt, Fun Belt action. We're still on the 12 o'clock games. We're going down the rotation numbers. We'll need to speed it up a little bit here. And let's see where we are. Sorry. Here we go. Coastal Carolina opening up at Bet365 at -3. They're now 4.5 set the leading indicator books. Money coming in on Coastal Carolina. This total opened up at 65.5. It has dropped down to 60.5. Atlanta, 55 Fahrenheit, sunny, 11 miles per hour. Georgia State 1-2 in the Sun Belt versus this Coastal Carolina team sitting at 5-0, coming off their 5th straight win, 28-14 at home over Georgia Southern. That was without Grayson McCall. He missed last week with injury. Fred Payton, their former starter, came in. He threw for 252 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. McCall's back in action. Coastal Carolina 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 road games, 4-1 against the spread in 5 games this year. They score 38.2 points per game, so they have similar offense to Georgia State. Georgia State scores 42 points per game. It's the defense where the huge difference is. Coastal Carolina allowing just 21.6, while Georgia State allows 39. Georgia State coming off a tight 36-34 win at Troy. Sun Belt, Fun Belt, Big Boss, Coastal Carolina, Georgia State.
Hey, I really early in the week I wanted to jump in on Coastal Carolina. Was uncertain about McCall. It looks like McCall is probable right now. So with that being said, Coastal Carolina, they're a team that can play really good defense and they can score. They're very versatile. So I wanted to get involved on the under on that one, but I missed the number by far. So I'm going to be off that game, but I would be leaning more towards Coastal Carolina, man. Coastal Carolina has surprised everyone this year. They've been doing really well. They play good competition. But Georgia State has a little something different to offer to the plate, which could be the game changer in this one right here. So, but I think these guys at Coastal Carolina, they can adjust. I mean, they're physical on defense. McCall's running the offense just awesome. They can run the ball. They can pass the ball. They can make plays outside the pocket. These guys are synced in. Might be the real deal. I think right now might be the time that you might want to put some money on Coastal Carolina to win the belt. It can happen.
Coastal Carolina, a look here. The chat liking Coastal Carolina as well. John Ryan, what do you think about this spot, Coastal Carolina, Georgia State?
I don't have an opinion on this game. There's, in my thoughts, my research, there's so many cross currents taking place between these two teams. It's going to be a great game to watch, and I probably will watch it on the abbreviated version once it's over. Coastal Carolina is just an exciting situation, and my hope is that they do win this game. I have them actually on the power ratings a favorite of 1.5 points, which is very close to what the line is, and that's another reason why I'm neutral.
Understandable. Let's move over to the big Ragoo here. And again, Coastal Carolina, Grayson McCall is back and starting for the 20th ranked team leading the Sun Belt. Ragoo, what do you think here, Coastal Carolina, Georgia State?
I got to the window on the over, 59.5. I think there's going to be points scored in bunches here. I know Coastal does have the better defense, but Georgia State is no slouch. They're familiar with this team. They have a ton of offensive weapons. Like you said, they're up in the high 30s, as is Coastal, and they do yield some points. So I think there's going to be more room for error on the on the defensive side versus the offense. So I'm pushing this. I pushed the button on this. I'm over 59.5 for the total. I think this game might be over by the first half.
Wow.
I like it.
I love it, man.
If you think it might be over for the first half, at the first half, why aren't you also backing Coastal Carolina?
I might play a first half over too.
Oh,
I'm afraid, not that I know Coastal has a better D, but Georgia State, they might have something up their sleeve here. Even though everybody's all over Coastal. When you know what happens when that happens, right? Just from experience, you get slaughtered. Sheep get slaughtered. So be careful with this game.
And Walter telling us that Fred Payton is starting. So I've read twice.
I'm
McCall
off.
is back.
Yeah, I just read that McCall was probable, but I'm off. It's too much to play with in that game. I'm off. I'm gonna back Big Ragoo and it's over. Since the line went down, he'll go over. I love when they drop it and then they go over the top. I like it, Big Ragoo.
Yeah, but it's at 61 now in certain spots.
Yeah, and I think you waited to the perfect time to attack it because this like a 6-point drop at least, but still, I'd love to. Walter, Wham Bam, can you get that confirmed? Can somebody get that confirmed? Because I have Grayson McCall back in the lineup.
Yeah,
and that's a big difference. If Grayson McCall is in the lineup, I would like to jump with you on that over. If we're gonna have to watch Peyton again, maybe he's good for the over because he throws picks.
He's upgraded probable. He's probable right now based on my spreadsheet.
And James Little says, "Don't pick Coastal if Peyton is playing." I'm serious. Okay, so that's a big important note here in this game. But Ragoo on the over. All right, let's keep rolling. Nice work. Memphis, Cincinnati up next. This is going to be fun. Memphis 3-1, 2-1 in the American. Cincinnati 4-0, 2-0 in the American. 47 Fahrenheit in Cincinnati. Sunny, 8 miles per hour is the wind. This total opened up at 59.5, dropped to 57 or 56.5. Cincinnati opened just under a touchdown at 6.5. They've now moved to 7-point favorites. Memphis went 2-0 against Cincinnati last year. They've scored 155 points in 4 games this season. Cincinnati limited SMU to just 13 points in Dallas last week, 42-13 win. Cincinnati has not allowed more than 20 points in the game this season. They put up 313 yards on the ground against SMU. Let's go to John Ryan, Memphis, Cincinnati. What's the move?
Well, Cincinnati's ranked number 7 in the nation. And you have to scratch your head a little bit. They're only favored by 6.5 against a Memphis team that, granted, is 3-1. It's definitely a head scratcher. I'm going to the window on Memphis, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Memphis win this game by more than 6 points. I have some little metrics here I can share too. We have Memphis betting system. It's a game between 2 good rushing teams, averaging between 190 and 240 per game. And you're going to take the dog, obviously, of between 3.5 and 9.5 points. And the opponent of the dog is coming off a game allowing less than 100 yards of rushing from the previous game. Did I say that right? So let me go over it real quick. You're gonna play against favorites of 3.5 to 9.5 points in a game involving 2 very good rushing teams, averaging 190 to 240 per game. And after the favorite has come off a game allowing less than 100 rushing yards. So that's that's hit at 85% over the last 10 seasons.
Interesting.
So I think Memphis will get it done. It kind of reminds me of when North Carolina was ranked 5th or 6th or whatever they were. We all thought that that was a little bit ahead of the game, and then they laid the egg against Florida State, which now looks like a really bad loss, by the way. So I think this is a similar situation. I'd rather be on the dog here.
Very interesting breakdown. Big Boss, what do you think of Memphis being backed here by John Ryan?
I love defense and Cincinnati, and they're at home. But all I can see in this game is dead under.
Dead under, because Cincinnati will dictate the pace at home.
Exactly. Cincinnati's going to dictate the pace at home. 2 rushing teams. Both teams even cover good against the rush. So, I have the theory, 2 similar teams with defensive teams, the game has stayed under. But when there's 2 teams that you think are going to go over, those 2 go under. So sticking to my script, 2 defensive teams right here, both like to rush the ball as well. I'm taking the under.
The under for Big Boss. Ragoo, Memphis, Cincinnati.
This American Conference is a fun conference, isn't it? So initially we look at UCF, Memphis, now we're looking at Memphis, SMU. Now we're looking at Cincinnati, Memphis. Cincinnati did a number on SMU last week. They're giving up like 250 some odd yards on defense as a whole. I wouldn't go up against them as far as, trying to – the only thing I'm not thrilled about is the number here, even though I know Memphis has got like the number 3 offense and they're almost dead last in defense. So they're at opposite ends of the spectrum there. I think Cincinnati can make up something in the middle, but I'm not crazy about the number, the 7. If I can get less than 7, maybe 6.5, 6, I missed the boat on that. So it's a pass, but I think Cincinnati wins. Maybe it's going to be a close game, a 1-score game either way. Even though they have the tougher defense, I think they're going to try to grind it out with the clock. So maybe under might be a look here because they're going to slow Cincinnati, Memphis. They'll slow Memphis down here, and maybe an under's a look. What's the total on the under? currently.
The total has dropped. It's interesting. I'm going to see where the money's gone, but right now this total has dropped from 59.5 down to 56.5 at some books.
But I like that first half better because the total is still sustained itself right there at 28 for the first half. I think the under first half is the play.
Yeah, that would be it'd be under a pass for me.
I have plus 80% of the money on the over and almost 90% of the tickets on the over.
They're going by Memphis.
I think I'm gonna make it to the window with the first half under.
But Memphis' defense is horrible too.
Yeah,
I'm thinking maybe Cincinnati can put points up here.
A situation where all the money and tickets are on the over and the total drops 2.5 points is very dangerous.
Yeah, sharp money.
Purdue, Illinois, that's next. Big Ten action, 51 Fahrenheit, sunny, 17 miles per hour in Champaign. Illinois coming off a 45-7 loss at Wisconsin to open the season last Friday. After trailing Iowa 17-14.5, Boilermakers held the Hawkeyes just a field goal. They won 24-20. Boilermakers defeated the Hawkeyes without their best player in Rondale Moore, their wide receiver, and head coach Jeff Brom. Aiden O'Connell led the way in the win over Iowa, 282 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. He did throw 2 interceptions. Purdue, Illinois. Purdue opening up a 6.5-point favorites. That's up to 9 at some books. This total has gone up a point or a point and a half from 55.5 to 56.5 or 57. Big Ten action. Let's go to John Ryan, Purdue, Illinois.
Well, my lean would be on Purdue, and I'll give you one quick stat just for the sake of time. Illinois is 3-16 against the spread, coming off a game where they held the time of possession of 26 minutes or less and had 13 or fewer first downs. So that, by definition, is a poor performance, and they're 3-16 against the spread in the next game. So I would have a lean to Purdue.
A Purdue lean from John Ryan. Big Ragoo, Big Ten action, Purdue, Illinois.
I don't have a play on this one, but just early power rating, short sample size. I got a lean to the over. I'm at about 65 points on the short sample that I have. So that's only a lean on the over to me.
A lean on the over. Julie Bonner going on the other side with a move towards the under. Let's hear what DJ Big Boss has to say, Purdue, Illinois.
Hey, Jimmy used to date a girl as ugly as this game with a nose ring, like a little bull back in the day in high school. Nice. This is an ugly game. Ew, Illinois, Purdue. I stay away. Nasty. Yeah. Get out of here.
Yeah. Purdue, Illinois, no move from DJ Big Boss. There we go. We are making moves here. We only have a couple games left on the 12 o'clock slate. Let's speed it up a little bit. Next up, Temple, Tulane. This was a best bet from Connor Mack on our Monday show on the over, and it was climbing at that point. He got 58. It was up to 60 when we did the show, 60.5 after the show. That's dropped back down to 58.5 or 58 at the leading indicator books. Tulane, though, taking cash, opening up at -2.5 all the way to 6.5. New Orleans, 66 Fahrenheit, 75 miles per hour is the win. Temple coming off 41-29 loss at Memphis, gained 500 yards, but turned the ball over 4 times. Russo has passed for 863 yards, 9 touchdowns, but 6 picks. Tulane coming off their 3rd straight loss, 51-34 at UCF. I tailed Big Ragoo on Tulane. We waited till the very last minute, got the +21, and it was very uncomfortable cash. As uncomfortable as a game as I've ever. Oh, God. It was not enjoy. It was a roller coaster ride, but we cashed. Tulane gained 340 yards of total offense, but gave up 689 to the Knights, which is what UCF does. Over is cashed in 5 of the Green Waves, 6 games this year, and CMAC making it a best bet. Why don't we go right to Ragoo, who knows this Tulane team well. Temple, Tulane.
I bet it early. I'm on the over. I know that number's been – I'm with Connor. I played it the other day, over 58. I think both teams are going to yield points here without a doubt. And that was the only look I had. I was kind of leaning possibly Temple, believe it or not. But I just think in this particular spot playing in New Orleans and with Willie Fritz has got some pretty good things going down there on the offensive side. I think they're both they're lacking a little bit on the defense. Obviously, going up at UCF, not too many people are going to slow them down in conference anyways. But for the most part, I think we'll get some points here. And I like the 58 strong. That's a 2-unit bet for me.
a 2-unit bet on the over in Temple Tulane. DJ Big Boss, what do you think of that?
I'm seeing 2-0-1 for Temple to the over, and I'm seeing what is this 5-1? Yeah, 5-1 to the over for Tulane. So good spot to be in the over right here. I mean, don't try to reinvent the wheel. I mean, these guys like to score, so I would endorse the over absolutely with Connor Mack and Big Ragoo on it. You got to go in with the over in that one. But I don't understand the whole Temple thing. They haven't really identified myself. I mean, to me, and Tulane plays really good defense. Well, I can't say really good, but Tulane was to come out to play defense, but it looks like they've been scoring all over the board. But they're coming off a game against Memphis, so that should have tuned them up a little bit as far as their scoring. So a lot of things point to the over in this game. I like the over.
I have Anthony Russo as a game-time decision. He's not being called out of the lineup at this point, but you have to think that injury is possibly playing into the reason why this is moving sort of back towards the under. Dennis Garcia moving on the under. John Ryan, Temple, Tulane.
Yeah, I was going to mention Anthony Russo is I have him questionable, and that's a big factor, I think, with the Temple offense, who, it's borderline a team that likes to play fast. They've been in the high 70s, I think, the last, their first 3 games of the year. And that would obviously support the over. But if you don't have Russo be under center, then are they going to play that fast? That's the only concern and that I have for backing the over. And overall in this game, this is a watch and see for me.
And we have great stuff from our man GM Miller in the chat saying, my buddy's his uncle said Russo is out. So that's
there it is there.
I love it. All right, let's keep rolling. Next up, we have Iowa State, Kansas, 60 Fahrenheit, sunny, 18 miles per hour. Iowa State was another winner for me last week, a plus 3.5. That was very, very uncomfortable all game long. 3-1 in the Big 12 going up against these Jayhawks that are absolute trash. Let's see what we are dealing with from a market perspective here. Iowa State opening up as 28.5-point favorites, down to 27.5. This total dropped from 55 to 50. Iowa State coming off their first conference loss of the season, 24-21 at number 6 Oklahoma State. Kansas is coming off their 5th double-digit loss of the season, 55-14 at Kansas State. I took Kansas at plus 19. What an ass clown I was making that move. Kansas second worst in the Big 12 in total defense, 437.6 yards per game. Worst in scoring defense, allowing 45 points. And Kansas has scored more than 20 points just once this season. John Ryan, is there any move to make here, Iowa State, Kansas?
I'll save us the time. I have no opinion on this game. Kansas, I don't even have I know they're a bad team, but I can't measure like how bad relative to a team like Iowa State. So this is a watch and see for me.
Ragoo, Iowa State, Kansas, any move to make?
Yeah, like Mickey Cohen says, they're not worth a wooden nickel in Kansas, but I'm not throwing on laying that kind of number with Iowa State. To me, they don't put those kind of numbers up. I mean, they have gotten a little bit better. They play tighter games. That's their MO in Iowa State. They're not a blowout scenario team. I mean, Kansas, maybe they become one today with Kansas, but I'm not going to lay that kind of number with Iowa State in this spot.
Big Boss, Iowa State, Kansas.
Y'all stop messing with Les, man. Poor Les, man. Poor
you gotta
Les
make Les a
Miles
rich
over
man.
there, man. Golly.
I agree.
But I think it's a spot for Iowa State to let loose, get a chance to blow some steam off right here against this Kansas team. And nowadays, you got to start looking this far in the season and the way college football is ran with the transfer thing and all that stuff, right? You got players that's just walking out nowadays. So I'm pretty sure a lot of players on Kansas team was like, this school was a mistake. I got to get out of here. If they're not promising them nothing for the following year, then the motivation and everything is shot. I don't see nobody out there coming in and say that, hey, let's turn this around at this time. So, hey, I wouldn't lay the whole, 28 or something like that. I wouldn't lay the whole 27, 28, but I'd try to take a chip at it at halftime, first half.
You are going to try to make a move on it first half?
No. If I wasn't to make a play, I would take a chip at it first half.
Understandably. So let's just see what that is quickly. First half, if you want, Iowa State still 16.5. I get it. No move for me. The only thing I've done right, it looks like, in the TCU Baylor total a bit, but was my move on Georgia double up here coming off the bye. Got him on Monday after the show, minus 7.5, first half of plus 100. A full game minus 14.5 and minus 110. I have beaten those market moves, and I'll need it after losing the double up on Minnesota last night. I'm going to need this. Georgia opening up at 14.5, now 17. This total opening up at 44.5 has now dropped to 43. Let's get over there. Perfect. Georgia coming off the bye, as I said, last seen 41-24 loss at Alabama, outscored 21-0 in the second half. Prior to that loss, Georgia defeated Arkansas, Auburn, Tennessee, all by at least 21 points. Kentucky coming off 2010 loss at Missouri, held to just 145 yards of total offense by the Missouri defense, and Terry Wilson passed for 35 yards, just 35 yards. John, you got me on this, and I feel good about it. Of course, that doesn't equate to cash in my pocket, but I feel good on this Georgia double up. Do you feel good with Georgia?
I do. Georgia has the gauntlet of stuff in their favor here in this game. Could probably talk about Georgia for about a half an hour, and I won't. But for starters, Georgia's 18-3 against the spread when they're facing a struggling passing team. And I think we saw last week that Kentucky is a struggling passing team, averaging 150 or less passing yards per game. So, and the bulk of those games are in the SEC. For that reason alone, the Georgia defense, in my opinion, still is the only legitimate defense in the SEC. Alabama's coming on. Maybe they'll be the second one. But I don't see Kentucky being able to move the ball against Georgia. And for those that like the under, I think that's an interesting play too. But Georgia, you can put me down for a window bet on the Bulldogs.
I like it. And I feel good with where I stand. And that's just a full game look for you, John?
Yep.
All righty. Let's move over to DJ Big Boss, Georgia, Kentucky.
I mean, Georgia's defense is so tough, and Kentucky's offense is so bad that it's no way Kentucky's going to make it out of here victorious. But as far as laying the number, I'm going to leave that up to you, because sometimes the Georgia offense has its snags here and there. But Kentucky can play a little bit of defense, maybe slow Georgia down at some point in the game. But I guess you have to take it full game and let it mature. It's like a IRA account. You're going to put the money in there at the beginning and go relax and let it mature.
Ragoo, Georgia, Kentucky.
What I'm seeing here is a lot of sharp people I know. They're looking at this game and in the number itself, the total, at the low 40. I mean, you can almost sneeze in college football and get to 40 points. And if they're saying that Georgia, if they're saying that Kentucky is not going to score a lot of points, so you're telling me that basically Georgia is going to have to cover this game by margin to even get close to putting this game over? Because I'm seeing some people predicting 7 points, 3 points, 10 points on the other side. I'd be interested in looking at a team total on Kentucky if there's one out there. But I would lean with Kentucky just to get some points here. I'm not thrilled with the big number for Georgia, even though they are the classier team. They probably will, probably better in the second half than they are in the first half usually. I've seen a lot of people cash some tickets in the second half of Georgia. That would be a look. I would look to possibly take a Kentucky team total over, and then maybe play on Georgia in the second half if they get a slow start. I'm going to look that team total up and just see what it is.
Interesting. Please look it up and let us know what it is. Those are the 12 p.m. games. Let's keep rolling. We move on to a 2 p.m. game. UCF Houston. Houston 65 Fahrenheit, sunny, 5 miles per hour. UCF snapped 2 game skid with 51-34 home win over Tulane last week, averaging 647 yards of offensive game. Dylan Gabriel leads the nation in completions, yards, and touchdown passes, thrown for 2,178 and 19 scores. Houston bounced back from a tough loss to BYU to win at Navy 37-21. One of the better defenses in the American, 4th in scoring defense, 3rd in total defense, allowing less than 354 yards per game. And their run defense is what's so strong. Cougars giving up just 2.6 yards per carry. 2 o'clock spot, UCF Houston. UCF 3-point favorites on the road. This total up to 81.5. It was up to 82.5 too. And I was like, God, that's high. It's so high. I want to take the under, but I didn't mess with it at this point. Let's go to the big Ragoo talking Florida football, UCF. What do you think here, Ragoo?
I like UCF in this spot. You know, I got a love-hate relationship with them, and I think this is a spot for them to kind of get going again. I think your offense is going to be in sync. I think defensively now, they don't have the best defense in the world. We know that. After the couple games that we went back and forth with them on. But I think the number is outrageous, like 80 points. I mean, come on. I mean, that's got to be a sweat to get there. But I think when you're talking about a game that's 80-something points and a 3-point number, that's telling you going to be points scored in bunches on both ways. But I think UCF is the better complete team here. And the field goal, to me, is a cheap price. And I think they kind of make – I wouldn't call it defensive adjustments, but they make defensive plays to get the victory here in this spot.
Are you going to get to the window with UCF?
Yeah, I'm UCF today. Yep, getting to the window.
And did you get him at 3?
3 points, yep.
All right, Ragoo has made a move on UCF. John Ryan, what do you think of that?
I don't have an opinion on the side, but the total is pretty interesting that it's at 82. And we're not really used to seeing these types of games with huge lines. I think a few years ago we saw one in a bowl game and they scored 115 points. So there's my database here going back to 2000. There's been 42 games with a total of 80 points or more. For what that's worth, the over/under record in those 42 games is 21 over, 20 under, 1 push. So unfortunately, there's no opportunity there to base anything on. So I'll just cut it here. I'm gonna pass on this game, but for some reason I think it's gonna go over by like a lot, and that's all my gut feeling. So I don't make a bet based on that.
UCF Houston Big Boss.
I mean, this is a crazy over right here. I don't, I'm not from Central Florida like Big Ragoo, so I can't make a play on the side. But like this total thing right here, though, maybe John Ryan just talked me off of it because I like that. I got this one T-shirt that I wear and it says "Algorithm Killer," and that we came up with this total out of algorithms right here. This is the human eye versus the algorithm right here. So, I hang on the algorithm killer side, and this total is way too far. But that, like John Ryan just explained to us, the algorithm could be absolutely right. So it would be a stay off. But if you want to have some fun, set the trap early. It's kind of like when you shoot your shot at a young lady knowing that you're going to see her a little later on. So shoot your shot, check on it later on. You might be a winner.
Move on to 3 p.m. games. Rice, Southern Miss. Southern Miss opened as a 3-point favorite. They're now a 1-point dog at most books. Rice has taken money. This total opened up at 59, now down to 58.5. Hattiesburg, 61 Fahrenheit, sunny, 4 miles per hour. Rice, 1 game in Conference USA, 1 game on the season to go for to gather information from. Southern Miss 1-4, 1-1 in Conference USA. Rice got their season started in a double overtime 40-34 loss to Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders. That's all we have information-wise on them. It's not very much. Collins threw 18-35, 242 yards, 4 touchdowns. It's very difficult to make a move on this game. Ragoo, have you looked at Rice Southern Miss at all?
I looked and I flipped the page, but I got I'm like you. I'm like, who the hell is Rice that they're going to make a 4-point swing playing 1 game against a bad football team at home? Not my book. I either take Southern Miss or pass.
Southern Miss or pass, and we've got the most recent information from our man John Raff. He's on our Periscope, says Illinois quarterback out, COVID versus Purdue. God, it's getting more and more difficult to bet early in the week. I'm off that game, thankfully, but what a mess this season has become. Big Boss, anything for you, Rice, Southern Miss?
Man, I've been on a little keto diet, man. I don't eat rice at all. I'm on the other side.
Southern Miss for Big Boss going against this market move. John Ryan, right? Southern Miss?
I'm a pass.
A pass. All right, let's move over to another Sun Belt spot. 3 p.m. Troy, Arkansas State. Troy 3-2, 1-1 in the Sun Belt. Arkansas State 3-2, 1-1 in the Sun Belt. It's 55 Fahrenheit in Jonesboro. Sunny, 5 miles per hour. Troy, Arkansas State. Sorry, let me get over this. Arkansas State opening up at -3.5. That's down to 3 at most books. And this total hasn't moved off the 69.5 opening that Bet365 popped it off at. Troy, Arkansas State. Ragoo, have you looked at this at all?
This has the feel of the UCF and Houston game, but in a different conference, more or less, with the high number and the short, the high total and the short number. I like Arkansas State at home. I didn't get to the window with them, but Troy brings a lot to the table also on the offense. So we know that Arkansas State's defense isn't very good. Troy, I think, is a more balanced team. But I think Arkansas has got a few more weapons on their side of the football. But it's a pass for me. I didn't get to the window.
We got my man Coy on Arkansas State. Cash action bets on Arkansas State. We have a very, very, very interesting. All right, let's move over to DJ Big Boss. What do you think of our guys backing Arkansas State here?
Hey, if you like Arkansas State, guess what? You got to like the over too, because those guys don't play no defense. They get all their money on offense. They got a nice senior leadership on the offensive line. So they stay in the game on offense the whole game. So, I wouldn't really back Arkansas State right here because with Troy's a really good team, a little more balanced than Arkansas State. But they can play 4 quarters, both of them. So backdoor covers, everything is wide open. The game could start fast. Everything is wide open for the over. So I would take nothing but the over in this game.
The over at Troy, Arkansas State. Max is on that over. God Bless the USA is on that over. John Ryan, what do you think, Troy, Arkansas State?
Well, I'm a pass. I'll mention that Troy is 13-2 in road games when they're facing an opponent that has less than 28 minutes on average of time possession. But that is offset by the fact that Arkansas State has played a much more difficult schedule than Troy coming into this game. So it just ends up being a wash.
Let's move on to 3:30 action. We're going to start with the Irish. Love hearing Big Boss talk about this Irish squad. Number 4 ranked Notre Dame at Georgia Tech in Atlanta. 56 Fahrenheit, sunny, 11 miles per hour is the wind. Nice weather here across the states. And again, that changes tomorrow. Notre Dame opening up at -19. They moved to 20.5. This total has been right around 58 all week. It's moved to 58.5. Let's let Big Boss take it away. Notre Dame, Georgia Tech.
Okay, so Book still doesn't do the trick for me. Book can bust at any time, but this week he has a chance. This is not South Florida though. He had a chance to really put the ball up against South Florida. This is not South Florida. A little algorithm movement right here with Georgia Tech losing to Clemson by all those points. So got a lot of that going over here. But according to my rule of thumb, I wouldn't lay the 20 with Notre Dame at all, but I'm really liking the under. I'm on the under. That's my first play of the day for today is the under in the Notre Dame game. Our defense is really good, except against the pass in big play situations. Now, they really hold it down, but big play situations, they can let loose on the pass, but I don't see them giving up too many points today. Kelly's just trying to knock them down and get them done right now, between the COVID and, all the stuff that's going on. He just want to get the win and get home. I don't think him and Book is seeing eye to eye. He can't really wait to get this season over with and get into what he's going to be doing with the next quarterback.
An under for Boss in Notre Dame, Georgia Tech. Ragoo, what do you think of Boss on the under, and are you making a move?
I'm off this game. I think the under is a good look. I would lean under before I lean on the side here. Georgia Tech was off to a fast start early in the season. We thought they had some momentum going, but it kind of seemed to flatten out here. And Notre Dame is moving in the right direction. They're solid. I know they've been throwing a lot of big numbers at us with Notre Dame and the Irish here, but I think it might be too many points, like Boss says. I would probably lean under and lean GT in this spot.
Lean under, lean Georgia Tech. John Ryan, any move for you, Notre Dame, Georgia Tech?
I'm on Notre Dame already, and I think this is going to be one of those blowout games.
Wow.
Georgia Tech, since week 1 at Florida State, they allowed 13 points. Since then, they've allowed 49, 37, 27, 73, and 48 to Boston College last week. Notre Dame, I was clearly wrong last week. I really loved Pittsburgh last week, and I looked like a complete idiot in hindsight. Notre Dame had were benefactors of 3 Pittsburgh turnovers deep in their own end of the field. But nevertheless, 45-3 is a bad call from last week on my part. So that game and that loss has nothing to do with this, and that's I think the beauty of my system and my machine learning is that it doesn't understand what a win or loss is. It understands what a W is in binary code, and that's it. So based on that, Georgia Tech is also 1-11 against teams that average 220 yards per game rushing. My machine learning says that Notre Dame will have 300 or more rushing yards in this game. So that kind of sums it up.
Wow.
So that is a window bet.
That is a window bet. John Ryan getting to the window on Notre Dame. Move on to Indiana Rutgers. Little Big Ten action here. After John Ryan's breakdown on Monday, Noli Nose was also leaning towards the under in this spot. I did move on Rutgers. I got Rutgers at plus 12 and would have benefited had I have waited. Rutgers now is 13 to get a plus 13. This total is sitting at 53. Let me get over to it here quickly. There we go. Piscataway, 42 Fahrenheit, 73 miles per hour. Both teams open their season with giant wins. Indiana opened with 36-35 overtime win at home over Penn State. Rutgers opened their season with 38-27 win at Michigan State. John Ryan, what do you think of this 1-point move against us? Are you still confident on Rutgers?
I am confident on Rutgers, and I still don't understand why it's a double-digit line. Indiana was outgained by Penn State by 277 yards. And in the stats, there was 100 different ways that Penn State should have won that game, but they didn't. And the 2-point conversion, whether you think it was or was not a score, Penn State lost that game way before that. So I don't think Indiana's that good. And Rutgers has that quarterback from Nebraska. He's a dual threat, and he was very upsetting to the Michigan State defense last week. We know Michigan State's not that good. They only had 3 returning starters on that unit. But still, Rutgers has some positive momentum from one game and some new enthusiasm they haven't had in 5 years. And Schiano's back. So I got to back Schiano here as a home dog of double digits against a team that I think is really suspect here. There's one system I'll share with you, too, and this is one of my favorite ones. You're going to play against a road team that's off a upset win as an underdog of 6 or more points, which Indiana is, and they're facing a Rutgers team that is fresh off a 10-point victory or more over a conference rival. That's 68% over the last 20 years. So I'll invest in that for sure.
A Rutgers investment, not worried about this market move. Let's try and speed up the pace a little bit, guys. Let's go over to Ragoo, Indiana Rutgers.
I think this game has a lot of recency bias, and I think it's reflected in the line. I think the price is too small here. I think Indiana blows them out. I think they played a tough game against Penn State, even though John says, with the differential in the numbers, I think Indiana has the better football team. I think it's not that it was an aberration on Rutgers' part, but I think Michigan State was that bad and showed up with the turnovers, and Rutgers got the game handed to them on a silver platter. I think they come back to reality with the team coming together, in the rebuild mode. And I think Indiana is a better team, and I think they win going away.
Ooh, wow. That caught some people in the chat by surprise. Bullish on Indiana. Have you got to the window on them?
Yes, I did.
Whew. Big Boss, can you settle this? Indiana Rutgers.
Man, this is an interesting game right here. So somebody help me out in the chat about Rutgers. Is this Rutgers team supposed to be so good because of transfers and all that good stuff? Because if we look around college football, that transfer situation is not working out well. I mean, look at what happened to Colorado State. They were highly touted because of transfers. But, there's been some sleepers here and there where there's been key players at certain teams that's made a difference on the transfer. But these coaches that's going out, raking up all these transfer players, I don't see it really working out. And this Indiana team, they look real. They look real on the field out there. Penn State was a scrappy team. They made some bad decisions and all that kind of stuff, but they played a real tough game. So this, we got to remember, we've seen this with the SEC and all the other stuff. This week number 2, you can't take too much bias from the week before. I did the same thing. Look at Fresno State with the Mountain West. Look at Hawaii. You got to cancel out some of that recent bias. But this is going to draw a line in the sand. Which one are you going to think going to be the better sleeper? Indiana or the Rutgers in that division? But I'm off this game. If I had to take anything, I'd jump on Indiana because my eyes tell me that they're a good team.
Now, you guys realize that the Hoosiers gained a whopping 211 yards and 46 of that was rushing? You still think they're a good offensive team? If
they can throw the ball like that, some teams nowadays eat like that. Just look at Arkansas State. They don't play much defense, and they eat like that. So it's a thing that it can happen in college football. But I don't know if this is the team to do that. But when you want to talk about fans and, momentum of the school moving forward, I think it's a little stronger over at Indiana opposed to the Rutgers, where they just brought in a bunch of players from other places. These people put this plan together, and they're moving it forward. So I could only back the stronger team right there. I think it's Indiana.
Yeah, let's move on. Another Big Ten showdown here. This is a game that kind of upsets me now. John was confident on Northwestern, and this market is moved. I got upset just because I couldn't get the 3 and only could get the 2.5. It did open at 3. Northwestern down to 1.5 point dogs. Also, Noli and CMAC were on the under in Northwestern Iowa. That opened up at 46.5. That's down to 43.5 or 44. 51 Fahrenheit, sunny, 16 miles per hour. Northwestern opened up the season with 43-3 win at home versus Maryland. 537 yards of offense, 325 coming on the ground. Iowa opened up with that 24-20 loss at Purdue. Are you still bullish on Northwestern, John?
I am. Yep. And I think I recommended the money line when it was at +3 as well. But now if you like Northwestern, you definitely take the money line at +1.5. Makes no sense to take the points. It's still valid as outlined.
Still valid as outlined. DJ Big Boss, what do you think of John on Northwestern and Noli and CMAC on the under?
Too much offense for the under. So far, if you want to look at last week, the passing yards are up, the total yards are up. Even though Northwestern eats on the ground, still the numbers are up in this one, so it's kind of risky. But this game right here, these are 2 teasers for me. Northwestern, kind of like a girl that messes with me sometimes, but I never can hit it. And Iowa, she gives in every now and then, but she don't really like me much either.
Ragoo.
Sympathy.
Wildcats, Hawkeyes.
I like the under here with Noli and the Connor. My numbers come out to right around a 40-ish, a low 40. I'm mad at myself because I didn't get down on the game, so I probably will pass if I didn't get the best of the number. I'm not going to play it. So 46.5 was a solid number. 43.5, not so much, but I still think it's got a good possibility to get there. So I would lean under here.
An under lean. All right, let's keep rolling. This is a move I did make. TCU Baylor. I got in on the under at 48. It is now sitting. Oh, sorry, I got spreads up. Let me get the totals here. It is now sitting at. Oh, damn. It was at 46.5. It's now at 47 or 47.5. Nut Flush, I'll grab that for you because that won't be till the end of the show. But I'll grab that Nevada team total for you. And so it's more market's moving back towards the over, which makes me a little uncomfortable. 60 Fahrenheit, sunny, 5 miles per hour is the win in Waco. TCU coming up 33-14 loss at Oklahoma. And then after 3 weeks off due to positive COVID-19 test, Baylor lost 27-16 at Texas. They came strong late. TCU sitting as 3-point favorites. That's where they opened. There's been no movement there. Let's start with John. John, you had a lean towards Baylor. Did that move at all throughout the week?
It's still a lean. I'll quickly mention one trend here. Patterson, the head coach of Baylor, is 1-12 against the spread after gaining 75 or less rushing yards in the last game. So that works against Baylor, right? Well, it's 1-11. So when these trends get up to this kind of level, you rarely see a trend, 20-1 or 1-22. What's happening here is 1-11 is actually becoming a opposite. So it's actually benefiting Baylor in this situation because it's due to start, reverting back to the mean. So it's an extended trend that really has no meaning anymore. So I just wanted to throw that out there as an example of how you have to pay attention to these trends and not just automatically assume that they're valid. They run cycles.
A lot of cash action and Eric Swiatek. When Eric Swiatek says love this over, I know I'm in trouble. When cash action bets is also on it, I get very nervous. TCU Baylor Ragoo, is there a move for you?
It's a TCU or pass for me. I didn't get to the window, but negative yardage for Baylor on average, plus yardage for TCU. Short sample sizes again, COVID, all the nonsense that goes along with it. One key factor is TCU's had the best of them in the series, and I think they're probably at least a touchdown better here in this spot.
Big Boss, any move for you here?
I guess we got to say that Baylor is in a down year this year. I mean, with the only win coming to Kansas and Les Miles, I don't know what to say about Baylor. And TCU hits them every time. Says they're 11-5 ATS versus this team. So, most value right here is on TCU. And you got a pretty short number right here, too. So, went from a pick 'em to -3. Baylor gets 3 for being at home anyway, so you still got plenty of action taking TCU for a game.
All right, let's speed this up a little bit. We got Cole Leone, the Vegas King, in the chat with us as well. Let's go. LSU Auburn is next up. LSU opened up as 2-point favorites. They're now 1-point dogs. This total opened up at 63. It's either at 63.5 or 64. Nice weather, 62 Fahrenheit, sunny, 11 miles per hour is the wind. SEC matchup. Let's go to Big Ragoo, LSU Auburn.
I'm all on the under here. Two teams struggling offensively. One team struggling massively on the defense, but the other team is going to compensate for the offensive woes there on the defensive side for that. So I like the under. I already bet the under. I'm in. Get me down on the under in this game.
Ragoo on the under. Big Boss, what do you think of that move?
Go for it, Big Ragoo. I think this is a big shit show, and I don't know. Louisiana's they keep trying to save their fate, pulling shit out the bag, and quarterback changes and all the personnel. I don't know, man. I don't trust Orgeron in the first place. I think they did what they had to do. Burrow's gone. Everybody's gone. Auburn, on the other hand, Bo Nix, you hear his name so much, you don't know if it's because he did something good or if he did something bad. But
yeah, good call.
This guy is back and forth. I mean, I really want to back Auburn. Like, I like Auburn's spirit. Like, they're willing to play to the end. They're just not talented. They just don't have all the pieces together. But I don't trust LSU as far as I can throw them. So I would be off. And, as far as on the total side, when you got two teams like this, you don't know who's going to – it's Halloween. On top of that, you don't know who's going to show up. Strobe light, honey.
John Ryan, quickly, LSU Auburn.
I'm a pass on this game. I think there's an overreaction, though, in the betting line because of LSU's supposed huge win in South Carolina last week. I think you'll see Auburn win this game outright, but I'm a pass.
All right, let's keep rolling. Next up, the last game at 3:30, UAB La Tech. UAB 4-2, 2-0 in Conference USA. La Tech 3-3, 2-2 Conference USA. 57 Fahrenheit, sunny, almost no wind at all at 2 miles per hour. UAB's taking a ton of cash. Open at 9.5, now 13.5. Total's gone from 48 to 47.5. So very little movement, but a little bit towards the under. Conference USA. Ragoo, any look for you here? UAB La Tech?
I would take La Tech or pass. I think the line's a little overvalued on the favorite here, so it's La Tech or pass.
La Tech or pass. Big Boss, what do you think?
La Tech got a little revenge factor after last year. They came a little closer than expected. I like La Tech, but UAB been playing some decent ball, so I don't know. It's a pass.
Cash actions on the under. John Ryan, anything for you here?
I'm a pass here. I can't trust Louisiana Tech being losers of 3 of the last 4 and 4 consecutive games against the spread. So we'll watch and see.
All right, let's be fast here. 4 o'clock games, Virginia Tech, Louisville, ACC matchup, 57 Fahrenheit, sunny, 4 miles per hour in this spot. There we go. Virginia Tech opens up as 3-point favorites. That's 3.5 at some books. This total's gone up 3 points from 63.5 to 66.5. You watched Louisville very closely in that 12-7 loss to Notre Dame. Big Boss, what do you think here, Virginia Tech, Louisville?
I think Louisville has grown a little bit since they played us, and I think these are 2 equally matched teams right here. And I don't know what side the total would go, but I'll back Louisville right here. They can have explosive. They can be very explosive. They have a lot of speed and a lot of different athleticism that they can get away with in this one. And I think it comes together today.
We have a backing of Louisville here in the ACC. Big Ragoo, what do you think?
It's a pass for me. I'm off the game totally.
Virginia Tech, Louisville, John Ryan, anything for you?
I'm off the game too. I have absolutely nothing.
Let's keep rolling. Next up, Big 12 matchup, Texas, number 6 ranked Oklahoma State, Stillwater, 68 Fahrenheit, sunny, 12 miles per hour is the weather. Big 12 matchup, Oklahoma State opening up at -3, now 3.5. This total sitting at 58 or 58.5. Let's go to John Ryan. Anything for you here, Texas, Oklahoma State?
I like Texas in this role. At the same time, Oklahoma State has been ranked the top team in that conference now for several weeks, and they just get no respect. So the skinny line has me a little concerned, but my lean here is definitely on the Longhorns to come away with the win.
Longhorns coming away with the win. Big Ragoo, what do you think?
Yeah, I love Texas in these spots normally. This is not a normal year. Ellinger is going to have to carry the whole team on his back, more or less. It seems that way. Oak State's defense is pretty decent. So you think I would be on the under, right? But guess what? I'm on the over. I already went to the window with it. Get me down on the over in this game. I think it's too short of a number for that conference. Even though we have the COVID, we have this, we have that. Over Texas, Oklahoma State, both teams produce points today.
Over for Ragoo. Big Boss, what do you think?
This is an interesting game. I'm gonna sit back and watch. I like Big Ragoo's over right there. Just spot on. Conference play right here. The number doesn't match up. Texas on the other hand. So Herm, maybe let's say a year ago was supposed to be double-digit dog killer. Like that was supposed to be his spot. So now he's a dog without the double-digit. Does he rise to occasion? I don't know. I've been liking this Oklahoma State team, but I've been liking them because of their defense. And they get caught with their pants down right here. Texas might knock Oklahoma State out today. Put that one on upset alert.
Ole Miss, Vanderbilt next up, SEC matchup. Ole Miss 1-4, 1-4 in the SEC. They deserve better. Vanderbilt 0-3, 0-3 in the SEC. Nashville 64 Fahrenheit, sunny, 7 miles per hour. Ole Miss opens up as 18-point favorites. Now 17.5, 16.5 at some books. This total's gone from 62.5 to 63. SEC matchup, Ragoo. Does Ole Miss smash?
No. They win by double digits, but they don't get quite to that bigger number. I think they win by between 10 and 14. I don't think they get to 17, 18. Take Vandy plus the points. That's a strong lean for me, by the way. I didn't get to the window with it, but I like Vandy plus the points here.
Strong lean on Vandy.
As bad as they are.
Vandy small lean for Ragoo. Vandy plus the points. John Ryan, what do you think of this SEC matchup?
For the sake of time, I'm a pass.
All right, DJ, Big Boss, Ole Miss, Vanderbilt.
I like what they're doing over there at Ole Miss, but Vanderbilt has been a sneaky team over there, and I don't know about Vanderbilt's ability to defend the pass right here. It looks like they're giving up 240 yards in the air, and 211 on the ground. Ole Miss, they're giving up a lot of yards on the ground. I think Vanderbilt gets a chance to score. I think Vanderbilt could cover, but I will be leaning towards the over on this.
An over lean there. Let's move on to another Sunbelt action. App State versus Louisiana Monroe. App State 3-1, 1-0 in Sunbelt. Louisiana Monroe 0-6, 0-3 in the Sunbelt. It is 65 Fahrenheit in Monroe. Sunny, almost no wind at all. Beautiful weather for offense. App State opens as 31-point favorites. This total at 55 or 56.5. Is App State a team that's going to run up the score these days? I don't know if they are. John Ryan, anything for you in App State, Louisiana Monroe?
I don't. Just a lot of conflicting cross currents again. It's one of those games that I can make a case for both sides and end up with no bet. So I'm a pass.
A pass there for John Ryan. Big Ragoo, App State, Louisiana Monroe.
No play. I think Louisiana Monroe might give Kansas a run for their money as the worst team in college football.
It's not even funny. That's pretty accurate.
Big Boss, anything for you?
I don't know. It could be a chance for App State to, draw a line in the sand and show that we come to play. But App State been on the shaky palette for me for the year, so I've been off of App State. I would have liked to take it. Maybe if it was like 24 or something like that, I probably would have got involved. But 30 points is too much.
30 points, and I wonder if that 56.5 total is right.
I wouldn't trust the total either because App State been trying to pick up a little bit on offense. They trying to right their wrongs as the season go on, which with respect they should. So I would just stay off. But like Louisiana Monroe is pretty bad. So if it's any opportunity for them to have a good time, but they're not even at home to really celebrate. So I'll be off.
We are going down the rotation numbers. We've hit the 6 o'clock game, and we got to be very quick here. Boise State Air Force. Boise State opens as 10.5-point favorites, now 14.5. This total's dropped from 51 to 49. Both teams just have Air Force has played 2 games. Boise State's just played 1. Colorado Springs, 60 Fahrenheit, sunny, 10 miles per hour. It's a Mountain West spot. Let's go right to DJ Big Boss. What do you think of this spot for Boise's big road favorites?
Now, it looks like Air Force, Hammond leaving the team is really messing with them. This Daniels guy they got over there, he's a little sidearmer, and I hate sidearming quarterbacks. But Brockmeyer over at Boise State, he's going to give Air Force secondary a run. He likes to throw the ball, and Boise State is balanced too. They'll put the double tights down and run the ball as well. I think it's just too much offense for Air Force this year, and Air Force doesn't have enough offense to respond. The biggest key with the move with Air Force last year was that Hammond could come in and actually throw the ball a little bit. But this guy, Daniels, he can't throw the ball as well. So I would take Boise State or nothing.
Boise State or nothing. Any move for you, Big Ragoo?
No, it's a pass for me also.
John Ryan?
I would lean to the under. Air Force is 18-3 to the under in home games after out-rushing opponents by 125 or more yards in their last 2 games. So that's a pretty good one there for the under. So that's a lean.
John leaning under.
Also, I'm going in on that game on the first half -7 because it's the best I could get at that line. And Boise State jumped out to a 28-0 lead first half. So right here, they're going on the road. They're probably going to try to get it done quick. So I'm taking Boise State first half. That's a play.
Boise State first half for DJ Big Boss. Thank you for the kind words, Mark Nicholson. My man, let's keep rolling. We move into a spot, 7 p.m., Charlotte at Duke Blue Devils. John got me on the Duke Blue Devils. We got -9.5. It's up to 10.5 now. This total from 56 to 55. We got to be quick here. John Ryan, are you still bullish on your Blue Devils action?
I am still bullish on my Blue Devils action, and I'll leave it at that.
Still bullish. We moved on at 9.5. Big Ragoo, Charlotte, Duke.
First half, Duke.
And Ragoo on Duke first half. Anything for you, Big Boss?
I like the over in this one.
An overlook for Big Boss in the 7 p.m. spot. Charlotte, Duke, that's dropped a point from 56 down to 55. All right, we move over to Mississippi State at number 2. Alabama, Crimson Tide. We had Noli and C-Mac liking Alabama on our Monday show. Mississippi State coming off a bye week. We last saw them suffering third straight loss, 2014 at home to Texas A&M. Alabama 5-0 with 5 double-digit wins. John Ryan, Alabama sitting here as 30-point favorites, 30.5. That's down from 32. This total's dropped from 64.5 to 63.5. Any move for you?
No move. I don't see how you can really take Mississippi State in this situation. You know, you're standing on the train tracks with the freight train coming through. So I'll pass on this game.
Big Boss, Mississippi State, Alabama. Anything for you?
From my knowledge, that and this was a crazy one to learn, that Nick Saban's birthday is on Halloween. So happy birthday to Nick Saban. I hope they bring him home a win. I would take Alabama or nothing. One of the best teams in college football right now. Yeah,
they look very, very strong. Big Ragoo, Bulldogs, Crimson Tide.
Autoplay, Bama first half.
Bama first half autoplay. Everybody was on it last week, and I didn't move on it, and it was easy casher. Let's just quickly look at what that first half is for those of you thinking of moving on. Strategic Investment's going to move on Bama full game. If you want that first half on Bama, it's 19.5, depending on where you shop, and the leading indicator book to move to 18. All right, let's keep rolling. Next up, we have a Mountain West spot, so we'll go right to DJ Big Boss. New Mexico, first game of the year at San Jose State. 68 Fahrenheit, sunny, 5 miles per hour. It's beautiful weather tonight in San Jose. Let's see what we are dealing with
now,
here at 7.
I spent all night looking that game over, and it looked like I think that game is postponed.
Oh, it's being postponed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, okay, thank you. I think, yeah, good call. That keeps us moving. All right, we move on to a big one here. 7:30 p.m., number 3 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes at Penn State, 18th ranked Penn State. We had Connor Mack leaning to the over. He wanted plus 14 if he was going to move on Penn State. That certainly didn't happen. It went from 12 down to 10.5. This total went from 63.5 to 64. Noli Nose was also leaning under 39 Fahrenheit. Clear, 5 miles per hour is the win at Happy Valley. Let's go to John Ryan here, Ohio, Penn State.
Well, it's a shame there's no fans in the stands. And when I do my power ratings, Penn State at night during a whiteout is by far the best home field advantage in college football. If you put it in your bucket list, if you ever want to go to Happy Valley and State College, I've been there several times. And I've been to LSU, for example, at night, which is equally as crazy and fun. It's a big advantage for Ohio State being able to come in there knowing that they're not going to have to use silent counts. And third downs get crazy when they're at the student end. I mean, it's impossible to even hear the person sitting next to you. But I do think Penn State is the bet here. And I also believe, as crazy as it sounds, that if I cover the spread, I think Penn State wins. Ohio State with the media, all the concentration was and the focus was on the 52 points that they put up on Nebraska. But if you dig into the data and the box scores, you do get a kind of a different story. And let's not forget that Nebraska gained 210 yards on the ground. And Penn State is obviously without Journey Brown, and they're also without the backup running back. But they have a stable of really good running backs. And one kid's his first name is Tank. And from what I understand, he will see action tonight, and he's a north-south runner. And that's exactly what you need to control the line of scrimmage against Ohio State. And if they have a weakness, it's going to be defending the run. And I really feel confident about this game. This is one of my biggest bets of the day.
Wow, biggest bet of the day for our John Ryan. Ragoo, big game, and let's keep it tight. Ohio State, Penn State.
Very simple here. Under what John was saying, the conditions – Penn State, Happy Valley, whiteout game not going to be in effect. Ohio State rolling. Ohio State comes into Happy Valley, walks away with the win in a nail biter. I lean Ohio State. I lean Penn State plus the points.
But you're going to stay off of it. You're not going to get to the window?
Yeah, no window bet for me.
All righty. Big Boss, Ohio State, Penn State.
So I have a little Ohio State fan in the house, so we have these conversations about Ohio State all the time. And one thing he's taught me is that Ohio State either starts off very fast or they start off very slow and they come strong in the second half. And I think this is a situation where you could bet Penn State first half, Ohio State second half. I think Ohio State walks away, but I find a lot of value in the under in this game right here because Penn State going into this game after last week, they know they're going to have to rely on their running to, to break way against this Ohio State team. And Ohio State, they're on the road, so they have to be careful not to take a L on the road. But they have a lot to prove in Ohio State. That's why I would definitely be careful with them in the second half.
I got a question for John real quick.
Yeah.
What about the running back situation for Ohio State? For Penn State, excuse me.
Yeah, for Penn State, they still have 3 high caliber running backs behind that offensive line. So even though they're missing the first 2, as I had said, I don't think they're going to lose a beat. And the kid named Tank he's a north-south power runner. He has legs like Saquon Barkley. It's just one of those situations I think they're going to be fine with those guys rotating in and out. One last thing on this, I know we're short on time, is with the line going down to 10, and as Big Boss said, Ohio State has a tendency to start out fast. I love these situations where you can put down 50% of your bet now at plus 10, whatever you get, and save the rest for the live betting. Because if Ohio State gets out to a 10-0 lead, all of a sudden now you're going to be getting 15, 16 points to take Penn State on the live line. So I think with that line being down at 10 right now, that's the best way to play it if you think you want to bet Penn State.
All right, let's start rolling very quick. Let's do 1 minute takes on a few of these games. Navy at number 22 ranked SMU. This total opened up at 59.5, now at 15. SMU opens up as 14.5 point favorite. It's now at 13.5, 62 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy. 5 miles per hour is the wind. Big Ragoo, anything for you, Navy, SMU?
Lean SMU.
A lean to SMU. DJ Big Boss.
Lean to the over with Navy every day.
Leaning to the over with Navy. And John Ryan.
Leaning with the Mustangs.
Leaning. So we have 2 leans towards the Mustangs, especially after that ugly loss last week. Interesting spot. Arkansas at Texas A&M, little SEC matchup at College Station. Arkansas at Texas A&M. Let's see what we are dealing with here. Texas A&M at -10, all the way up to -14 now, and totals dropped 3 points from the Bet 365 opener from 56 to 53. Arkansas, Texas A&M, John Ryan.
Again, this is one of those games where I think Texas A&M is arguably a top 10 ranked team by the end of the season. And the line has moved 4 points, as you said. So put 50% down on A&M. And then if Arkansas hangs with them for a little bit, you'll have a chance to get a cheaper line. And I think that's a smart way to play this game. Put me down for A&M for the game. Half bet for the game.
Okay, John Ryan on Texas A&M. What do you think of that, Big Ragoo?
I like the theory. I like A&M in the first half because I think they're Alabama light, so to speak, and I think you get some value there. Not to take anything away from Arkansas on the defensive side of the ball. On the offensive side, they're horrible, but I think A&M's got enough balance to get the first half victory. And like John says, put some money down or put a little sprinkle in the beginning and bet during the course of the game if you have to. So I'm first half A&M.
A&M. Big Boss, quickly, Arkansas, Texas A&M.
I like the under in this one. That's the only way I see it. It's been bet down a little bit, but I still like the under.
And Boss agreeing with the market move from 56 down to 53. We move up to Missou, Florida, another SEC spot. Gainesville, 72 Fahrenheit, clear, 6 miles per hour. This total opened up at 64.5, now at 61.5. Florida's gone from -13 point favorites to -14 point favorites. Big Ragoo, Missouri at number 10 Florida.
Yeah, Florida's going to try to crank up the engine here. I know they got Georgia on deck, so that's a little concern for me, but they've had plenty of time off to kind of focus on both games, I think, here. I think the Gators, I'm not going to say they're in a good spot. Missouri off, playing a decent game. It's a bigger number. My only concern for Florida is their run game. I still preach this to this day. They're a pass-first team, so if Missouri is successful on slowing them down, they're going to force Florida to possibly run the ball. But I don't see that happening. I think Florida gets there. I haven't got to the window with it yet. I might wait because the line is dropping. So as of right now, it's a lean Florida.
And we're closing up on these games, and then we will go to best bets, and we will give you time to get to the window 20 minutes before kickoff at this point. What do you think, Big Boss, Missouri, Florida?
I'm leaning. Give me the points right here. These type of matchups is where you want to get the points. They're giving big points in this one. I would say Missouri. I don't usually like to take dogs unless I think they got a chance to win the game, and I think Missouri could be a shocker. I think this is maybe upset weekend, but we don't see it yet. But I think Missouri got a chance in this one.
Missouri a chance, says our Big Boss. John Ryan, Missouri, Florida.
I'm a pass on this, but I do have a lean on Florida. Machine learning projection says Florida will score 42 minimum points. In the past 10 years, they're 24-3 when they've done that. So a lean on Florida.
Move on to 8 p.m. action. We have 15th ranked North Carolina at Virginia. It is 46 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 3 miles per hour. It does start getting cooler in these games that are playing at 8 p.m. tonight. North Carolina opens up at -7, now 7.5, 8 at the indicator books. This total's gone up a point. North Carolina, Virginia. John Ryan, any move for you?
I have no play on this. I'll leave it at that for time.
Big Ragoo, North Carolina, Virginia.
I'm on the under here. Let it keep going up. I haven't got to the window yet, but I'm playing the under. I think this game stays below the 60s. I think it's in the 50s, so I'm on the under.
Big Boss, North Carolina, Virginia.
Nothing for me.
And we have cash action bets also making a move here on Virginia +7. All right, let's keep rolling. Oklahoma, a little Big 12 matchup. Oklahoma, Texas Tech. I moved on Texas Tech at +14 after the show. Another spot where I should have waited. Now 15.5's on the board. This total has been sitting at 67 for a while. Connor Mack was also on Texas Tech. Texas Tech coming up, putting an end to their 3-game losing streak, 34-27 win at home over West Virginia. Oklahoma coming off their second straight win, easy 33-14 win at TCU. Oklahoma, Texas Tech, John Ryan.
Well, this again implies that the betting line and the total imply that Oklahoma is going to score 40 or more points in this game. And take my word for it, Oklahoma, when they score that many, is very good against the spread. So lean on the Sooners.
Brandon Bessie with the Sooners by 3 TDs. John Ryan just on the Sooners, and I'm very uncomfortable with my spot right now. Ragoo, should I be this uncomfortable with my spot on Texas Tech +14?
If you like the over, you got to lean Texas Tech, even though I don't think they're going to score by margin. If, like John said, they score 40 points, and that means Texas Tech is going to score at least, I would say, probably at least 30 in this spot. So if they don't, then it's probably going to be an under. So I like the over, so you're in a good spot.
All right, yeah, I like that. Big Boss, anything to add? Oklahoma, Texas Tech?
I definitely like the over. And like Big Ragoo say, you got to correlate that with Texas Tech. I mean, Texas Tech take it to the wire with a few teams. They could put some points up. So it's definitely live that we can get some over money right here.
This is an under that I moved on. It was Noli Knows best bet. The Texas State. I got under 55 right now. This Louisiana Ragin Cajuns, Texas State has moved up to 56, so it's a half point better than what I got it at. And this was a best bet on Monday from our Noli Knows. 62 Fahrenheit clear, 5 miles per hour. Texas State 1-6, 1-2 in the Sun Belt. Louisiana Ragin Cajuns 4-1, 2-1 Sun Belt. Ragin Cajuns bounce back from their 30-27 home loss to Coastal Carolina to defeat UAB at UAB 24-20. Texas State coming off their 5th loss in 6 games, 52-14 at BYU. Louisiana Ragin Cajuns, Texas State Fun Belt action. Anything for you, Big Boss?
I like what Noli's saying with the under right here. 2 teams that like to run the ball a lot, but the only bad part about it is Texas State is giving up 295 yards in the air, and that's not good for an under. But if my guy Noli has did the research, which I know he did the research, then I'm pretty sure it's something I didn't see there. Right here, I'm seeing Louisiana is 1-4 to the under, and Texas State is 2-5 to the under. So maybe that's the under lean right there. But what those unders look like? Were they close unders? Yeah, they were set kind of high. Yeah, I wouldn't touch this game. Shout out to Noli with the under, but I'm not gonna go against them, and I don't see nothing on the side.
Anything for you, Big Ragoo?
No, pass.
Anything for you, John Ryan?
Nothing for me.
We have 3 games left on the card. Then we'll go to best bets, and we will let our DJ Big Boss lead off the Mountain West spots here. Aztecs, Aggies, San Diego State, Utah State, 47 Fahrenheit, clear, 4 miles per hour. This was another under for Noli Nose, and this has gone 45.5 down to 43.5. San Diego State opened up at -7.5, now at 8.5 or 9. And San Diego State opened their season 34-6 win at home over UNLV, 424 yards of offense, 287 of that coming on the ground. Aztecs, Aggies, DJ Big Boss, take it away.
I have Utah State's offense not going according to plan right here. They got a lot to work on, and they're going to be playing against one of the top defenses in the Mountain West in San Diego State. And not only did San Diego State have one of the top defenses, but they also come in with one of the best rushing attacks that they have in the Mountain West football. So I think it's just going to be too much for Utah State to handle. Utah State was predicted to be, like 4th, and they decided the Mountain West. But I don't think it's panning out to them. But it's only the second game. But they took a real lashing last week. But I like San Diego State a lot. Best of the line for me would be first half -5. But I'm going to go ahead and take it first half -5 and full game. This guy right here is fired up. The coach over here at San Diego State, he's in his 3rd year, and I love those 3rd-year coaches, and all his pieces are lining up. He's got 6 returning on offense and another 5 returning on defense. So he got a nice group, everything lined up to have a lot of success this year. This could be a blowout. They could run all up and down the field on this team. So I'm with San Diego State double time.
Aztecs to smash the Aggies. Ragoo, anything for you? San Diego State, Utah State?
I'm going to give you my best bet because it's 12 o'clock. It's going to be over in the Coastal Carolina game. That's my best bet.
An over in Coastal Carolina. We just have 2 more, and we want to get through this in a minute here. Does anybody have Western Kentucky BYU spot on their card? BYU 30.5 point favorites?
Nope.
Boss,
no action.
Nah.
All right, then let's put a bow on this with Nevada, UNLV, and then we'll get the best bets. Nevada opened up as 10-point favorites, now 13.5-point favorites. The total's gone from 58 to 60. I'm going to grab the Nevada team total for our guy, Nutflush Allen. Last game on the card. Great job, you guys, getting through all 38. Nevada, UNLV, Mountain West. Big Boss, anything for you?
Absolutely. This is the Fremont Cannon right here. This is going to be played first game at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas for UNLV. This is a big revenge game factor for Nevada in this. They're trying to bring the cannon home. Nevada is a much better team. I mean, you seen Wyoming last night. They beat a really good Wyoming team defensively and running the ball, and they did a good job of it. So I think Nevada is one of the best teams in the Mountain West, maybe number 2 to Boise State, and Boise State's only there out of tradition, and they got BYU coming up, which could give them a loss, and that would change the whole thing right there. So this is my best bet of the day. It's at the end of the night. I guess you'll call it a degenerate special. So if you flat out, you got to rely on me. So take Nevada first half and full game, man.
Nevada first half, full game. Nutflush Allen on the team totally wanted it. It's at 37.5. Do you think that's too high?
No, yeah, I like the under in this game too, believe it or not. Nevada is maturing on the defensive side of the ball. UNLV is struggling on offense. They're tossing in different quarterbacks, all kinds of stuff. They're not solid on what they're doing over there. Normally known as a heavy run team, and I don't know, with the new coach, they may be moving away from that. But I think they just haven't gathered it all together. And this Nevada team, they might have a clear shot to winning this whole division over here because not much competition left, not that many games, and really good team right there.
Anything for you guys on this spot, Ragoo, John Ryan?
No, I'm gonna tell my man.
Yeah, I think that's a nice spot there. Okay, there we go. Now it's best bet time on our Monday show. Best bets for Saturday by John Ryan was Northwestern. C-Mac gave us Temple Tulane over, and we have the Ragin Cajuns Texas State under from our Noli knows. Let's go best bets. Ragoo, can you give us your best bet once more?
Over Carolina, Coastal Carolina, Georgia State game. That's an early game, and under LSU Auburn. Those are my two best bets.
And under in LSU Auburn. John Ryan, best bets on the Saturday card.
Penn State plus the points and K-State plus the points. In fact, that'd be a good money line parlay.
Wow, I like
whoa.
looks.
Parlay them.
I'm not telling you to put your house on it, but like $50, 25.
That's my house. I live in Parkdale.
Beer money. Beer money.
Parkdales.
DJ Big Boss.
My best bets is Notre Dame. I got it at under 59, the under in that one, and then first half Nevada -7, and also San Diego State full game.
I love it. Great job, you guys. All 38 games broken down. That's so impressive. Best bets. Ragoo over in Coastal Carolina, under in LSU Auburn. John Ryan, best bets, Penn State plus the points, K-State plus the points. DJ Big Boss, best bets, Notre Dame under. Nevada first half, San Diego State. Prince of the City says Penn State has no shot with 6 O's. 6 O's.
That guy hates the whole state of Pennsylvania.
Hey, don't worry. Prince of the City drinks a lot of coffee in the morning, man. I'm sure he's perking.
Man, great stuff from our experts. Thank you, Big Ragoo, DJ Big Boss, John Ryan. What a treat this gap with you guys. We got 9 minutes before kickoff, so bets need to be made by me here. At least got to get the 12 o'clock bets in. Thank you to our chat. What a great group. Thank you for your insights and your humor. Walter, Trotter, Wham Bam, Rodney Hawkins, Fight Brand B, Prince of the City, Brandon, Bessie, Swervin, Dennis Garcia, Raymond Reichart, Oregon 245. Thank you guys. Corey Stills, Cash Action Bets, Dennis Garcia, Jimmy Stain, Robert Allen, Coy Moore, Maxwell Smart, Robert Cherry, Eric Swiatek, Andrew Carr. Thank you guys. Let's have a giant Saturday. We will see you tomorrow, Sunday, 11 a.m. for the NFL kickoff show. And on behalf of all of us at odds.com, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a giant day. Big Boss, can you put a bow on this? Give us a little leche.
Hey, first I want to say these bets are for promotional purposes only. Please keep out of the reach of children. And leche!